Hey there, guys. Welcome back. I kind of got this idea a little earlier from I was watching one of Neil's videos on his YouTube site, Post to Post, and it kind of got me thinking, because he did a video talking about jerseys that, like some jerseys that he has in his collection that looked a lot better in person than they did in just photos. And I thought, I've got a few like that. So what I thought I would do is I thought I would look through some of my jersey collection, and I thought I would find 10 jerseys in my collection that look a lot better in person than what looked like on video. I thought that was a heck of an idea. So I figured that's what I thought. I would probably take a look at that myself. And so I thought, why not? Let's try that. But before I get into this, I would I want to thank you guys for being here. If you're just seeing this video for the first time, or one of my other videos, check them out. I would love it if you would hit like and subscribe. I'd really enjoy that. I'm getting closer to 300 subscribers. It's kind of tailed off lately. So if there's new people that are just coming on through, if you watch the videos, I hope you enjoy them. Hopefully you like them well enough. Hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you be a part of the channel, because the more people that subscribe, the more reach the channel gets, and the more reach the channel gets, the more people see it, and hopefully more people subscribe to it. So yeah, I would thoroughly appreciate it if you guys would hit that subscribe button if you guys enjoy the video. And what do you say we get into now? This is in no particular order. It's just 10 jerseys that I have that I know I saw in pictures, or I saw like either getting unveiled, or basically like mainly pictures. And I thought that doesn't look that great, but then you see it in person and you're like, okay. So they're in no particular order. So what do you say we start with the first one? All right, we're gonna start out with this particular one here. Like I said, they're in no particular order. They're not ranked in any way. It's just they're jerseys that looked, they didn't look that great in pictures, but then when I saw them up close, or when I got them, they looked a lot better. So the first one I'm starting out with is this one, the reverse retro New York Islanders. When I first saw this, I thought, okay, this is supposed to be part of the reverse retro program, but what did they really change? They didn't, it's just kind of like, okay, we just, and they really didn't change a whole lot, other than they changed the color blue. They made it the dark blue, and then really all they did was they swapped around the white and the orange from their home jersey, because on their home jersey, this part is white and this is orange. So I mean, they really didn't change a whole lot. But and when I first saw this one, I thought, well, that kind of looks pretty, there just didn't seem like there was a whole lot to it. But then when I went and I bought it, and it came in the mail, and I unboxed it, and I was like, okay, that looks really cool. So yeah, I turned out I am actually a pretty big fan of this. This, honestly, I think would make a great third jersey for the Islanders. But yeah, this was one that when I first saw it in photos, I wasn't that crazy about it. But then when I went and bought it, I kind of changed my mind and I really liked it. I remember when I was younger and I first saw this particular jersey, and I thought, I mean, the first time I ever really saw it, I saw it on TV, and I was like, I was literally like, what in the world? Like, what kind of color scheme is that? And I never understood. And I remember looking for the longest time at the logo, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I never understood the logo. I never knew it. And then, of course, they moved. They went and moved, and the jerseys kind of went away, but then the jerseys kind of came back. And when I went and got it, I was like, okay, that's way better looking in person than it is in any photo or any video. And it's this one, the old Quebec Nordiques. This jersey is absolutely fantastic. It is one of the most beautiful jerseys that I have in my collection. But when I first saw this as a kid, I didn't understand. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, the color was odd. I guess I didn't really quite get it. And the logo, I never understood what the logo was as a kid until I got older. Then I realized what it was. I'm like, okay, so it's like an igloo with the stick and the puck. And I remember when I first got the other one that I have, which is a blank. This one, of course, is their old captain, Joe Sakic, the current general manager of the Colorado Avalanche. When I first got this jersey in person, I was like, holy cow, that is way better looking than it is in pictures. I mean, and this is a jersey where if they ever came back, if the Nordiques were to ever come back, which I don't know if they ever will or not, this jersey, this particular one in an Adidas, I mean, we saw what the reverse retro Avalanche one did when they with this logo on the front and how great it looked. I would love to see that particular one in a burgundy for Colorado. That would look fantastic. But yeah, this particular jersey I was not that thrilled of when I was a kid growing up when I first saw it. But then when I went and got it, when I went and finally when the vintage line came out, because this is the CCM vintage collection, when this jersey came out and I finally got a chance to get it, I got it, and I am so glad that I did, because this one is just another one of those jerseys where you see it in photos, but then you get it in the photos do not do it justice just how beautiful this jersey is in person. This is another one. Now Neil had this one and had this particular one in his video. I've got a couple that are in his videos. I have a couple of them in my collection too that I'm going to show. This one he had, and I remember when this one came out. Again, I saw it on the ice, and I was like, holy cow, that's bright. I was like, that's a lot of yellow. But again, I saw it on the ice. I then kind of saw it up close. And I thought, I need to get that just to see how it looks in person. And let me tell you, it does look better in person. It really does. I love the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yellow for the Penguins just seems to work. It really does. This especially, I mean, to take the Penguin and take it out of the triangle that it normally has, and just have the skating penguin there, and have that on the yellow background is just fantastic. I love everything about this jersey. The one thing I do wish they had is I wish they had like the stripes here, like the white, like a white stripe, a white and black stripe on the bottom of this, just to kind of break all this up. But other than that, this is a fantastic jersey. I saw this, and again, this looks so much better close up and in person than it does on video or in photos. It's fantastic. There is, and of course they've went away from this one, but when I actually got the opportunity to get this one, I jumped all over it. This is this is just gorgeous. Something about Pittsburgh on a yellow, the penguin on a yellow background is just awesome. So I definitely, if there's anybody out there that's still maybe looking around for this, if you can find it, get it. It's a phenomenal looking jersey, especially in person. This is another one that Neil showed. And again, I first saw it in pictures, and I thought, I was kind of like, but then I looked at it a couple more times, and I'm like, well, it's way better than their current home jersey, and it honestly makes me think, why don't they go with this one for their home jersey? It looks so much better than their current home jersey, and it's the Predators reverse retro. This, if they want to stick with yellow, if they want to stick with marigold, this is what they should go with for their home jersey. You can make a white version of this, and then you can make the original blue style like this, and have that as a third. This is absolutely fantastic. There's more. There's so much more detail in this than their current home jersey. And, of course, as Neil said, the material. This material, this is the first time Adidas has ever really done this. This is kind of, it's a polyester material. It's got that very silky, it's a very silky feel. It's very stretchy, but it's awesome. And, of course, they have it down on the bottom also. But it's a very silky, shiny, silky material. It's really, really nice. And of course the shoulder logo is fantastic. And this is a jersey where I do wish that Nashville would go back to this one. If they want to go with a home jersey, this is the one they should go with. This is fantastic. And this jersey, again, way better looking in person than the first time I saw it in a picture. I thought it was halfway decent in pictures when the reverse retros came out. But when I got a chance to actually buy it and see it in person, that's when I was like, this needs to be Nashville's home. So I don't know if they'll ever go with that, but this is definitely another one. It looks way, way better in person. Now we're up to this one. Another picture. It was when they first unveiled it in pictures online. I thought, what? I literally was kind of like, well, that's kind of interesting. But of course, this is the kind of jersey it totally fits their brand. And again, when I got this in person, when I actually went and bought it, unboxed it, and saw it in person, I thought, that definitely looks a lot better in person. And it's so on brand for these guys, it's not even funny. It is the gold Vegas Golden Knights. The material, it's shiny, it's sparkly, it's just, it's an interesting material when you wear it, because you can see kind of close up. It's kind of a rough feel, but this is about as on brand for Vegas as you can get. And yeah, when you see this in a picture, you're like, you're kind of like, but boy, once you see it in person, yeah, pictures don't do it justice as to just how really cool this actually is. And, the gold. I mean, can you get more on brand for Vegas than a gold hockey jersey? I mean, it's Vegas. I mean, what more can you say? Another jersey. Definitely looks now of course, when you wear this, you want to be wearing a shirt underneath, because it is a very rough kind of feel on the on the inside, because it's kind of a rough feel. So you want to be wearing a shirt underneath. But again, this jersey, when you see it in photos, seeing it in photos is one thing. When you get to see this thing in person, it's a whole other story. And when this one came out, when this was unveiled as an alternate, I was like, again, it was a little underwhelming. It really was. It was a little underwhelming when I saw it in photos. Then I saw it on the ice, and it still was kind of like, I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to get it. But then when I finally went and decided, okay, I'm going to get it, and again, I saw it in person. I saw it up close and in person, and I thought, okay, that's actually pretty cool. And it is the color rush of the Edmonton Oilers. This, I mean, there's not much to it. There really isn't. I mean, the logo, it's all that solid orange, which the orange absolutely stands out. I mean, the orange just stands out so nice. It really does. The orange on the neckline, it does. It looks a lot better in person than it does in photos. Because, I mean, there's not a lot to it. There's two singular orange stripes here. There's a solid orange stripe at the bottom. I mean, there's not much to it. But again, when you see this up close, it looks so much better. And, again, when I saw this in photos, I wasn't that thrilled with it. I really wasn't. I saw it on the ice, and I was still kind of like, But then when I pulled the trigger and actually bought it, and I unboxed it, I thought, okay, that's definitely way better looking in person than it does in any video or any photo. This is actually pretty cool. And I'm not that crazy about the whole color rush ideas, but this one for the Oilers, one that definitely looks much better in person. This is another one that it looks a lot better than their predecessor. But even in photos, it was like, especially growing up as a kid. When this team wore this particular jersey, we're talking like, late 80s, very early 90s. And again, this one is definitely better than their predecessor. But again, in photos, it didn't look that great. But then when the vintage line came out and this jersey was released, I do not have the other one. I do not have the other one of this one. I would love to find the other one of this one. Which I think that would be considered the home version. But and I would love to find that one. It is the predecessor to the Flying V. The Vancouver Canucks, they still had the V. They still had the V on the shoulders. That's when they moved the V to the shoulders. So it's not the Flying V. It's the one they came out with after the Flying V. Now, the yellow one, which I think was the home one, I do not have the yellow version of this one. I would love to find the yellow version of this one. I've seen it, but anytime I've seen it, it's either has not been in my size, or if I did find it in my size, I didn't have the money to buy it at the time, and then when I finally get the money to buy it, it's gone. So I would love to find the yellow version of this one. But this one is a really nice... I mean, again, this is one, you see it in pictures, and it's very underwhelming. But you see it in person. That's awesome. I mean, and this is not the red one either. This is not the yellow and red. This is the orange. This is the yellow and orange version. This is like 1988, 89. Circa 1988, 89. Absolutely phenomenal jersey. Like I said, I would love to find the yellow one of this one. This is, and again, we all know how ugly the Flying V jerseys are, which I do have those. And and even those look a lot better in person than they do in photos. Even in person, they're still ugly as sin, but still, they still look pretty good. But I chose this one. I chose to show this one because this is one, I mean, we all know the Flying V. Not everybody knows this one. This one is to me, is very underrated. And again, I do not have the yellow version of this one. I would love to find the yellow version of this one. They actually put the skate logo on the front, but the skate logo is in that nice orange, and it actually looks really, really nice. And again, you see this in pictures, and it's not really that overwhelming. You get a look at it in person. It's a much different story. This one here, this is another one from the reverse retro line. And again, when I saw this as a reverse retro, I thought, especially in person, I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. The other thing that I really kind of liked about it was red, and red has always been my favorite color. So when I saw this, I thought, I would love to actually get that. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to, but then when I believe Ben from Ben X Sports, he had one of these, and he had it in my size. And needless to say, when I saw that he had it in my size, I hit him up immediately, and I said, I need that. And so I went and I got it. And the home jersey is fantastic. This is another one. They should come out with this as an alternate. And it is the red reverse retro Ottawa Senators. This is another jersey that when you see it in photos, it's, some people saw it in photos and they were very underwhelmed. They were like, really? Because really, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot, you look at like a reverse retro. I mean, basically you're taking their current home jersey that they have, the new home version that they have, and you're inversing the colors. That's all you're doing. The body of the jersey is red, and where the red stripes are on the sleeves, you make those black, and you put the black stripe down at the bottom. There's not a whole lot, not a whole lot they really reversed, honestly. But again, this is another one. It looks much better in person than it did in photos. And this, I still honestly believe, this should be an alternate for them. This looked really, really nice on the ice. When you first see it in photos, you're kind of like, again, it's kind of underwhelming. But when I saw it available and I was able to get it, I snatched it up. And when I unboxed this, I was taken aback. I was like, wow, is that sweet looking. So, another one. Very, very much better, a lot better looking in person than seeing it in pictures. This one is another reverse retro. This one might look familiar because it's very recognizable. And again, it's one of those jerseys where you see it in person, and again, it was kind of underwhelming. But again, you get it in person, and it's so much better looking, and it's going to look very familiar. It is the reverse retro of this. It is this jersey, just in red. That's all they did there. They took their 90s style, their like 1995 style, 95, 96 style. They replaced the blue with red. They took the red from the sleeve here, made it blue here. They kept the yellow. This one, another fantastic looking jersey. As you can tell, I mean, you can see what they changed, what they reversed. This is another fantastic looking jersey. When you see it from afar, you're kind of like everybody's kind of like, eh. You get it up close in person. Absolutely fantastic. And honestly, I mean, you look at the two of them side by side. I mean, that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. So, and again, me being a sucker for red, I mean, it's one of those. I'm like, I just, this is another one. When I had a chance to get this one, I snatched it up the first chance I got. And again, another one, much better looking in person than it does on video or in any picture. And last, but certainly not least, this is one I saw on the ice. I saw it in pictures. When it first was unveiled, I was like, really? I wasn't that thrilled with it. I really wasn't. And I honestly never thought I would get it. But then when I went and I actually pulled the trigger and I got it and I opened it up, another one, way better in person than it is in any picture or any video. And it's the Canon. The alternate Columbus Blue Jackets, the Canon jersey. This, I was not that thrilled with it. When it first came out, I was not that thrilled with it. I really wasn't. Because it was so much different. I'm like, when you look at their home jersey and look at their road jersey, you're like, it's a completely different setup. They took the red out. It's a completely different look than their home and road jersey. It's a completely different looking jersey. And I wasn't that sold on it when I first saw it. I thought, I wasn't that crazy about it. But then when I went and I finally had the chance to buy it, and I bought it, when I got it and I unboxed it, I was completely taken aback. I was like, that is way better looking than I ever thought that it would have been. Way better looking than I actually thought it would have been. Sorry, I had to reposition the phone there. The phone was falling down. That wouldn't have looked great. But again, this jersey in person, so much nicer. And I mean, I could have gotten this when Reebok was still making them, because Reebok had them. And I think when I was ready to actually buy one, they were all sold out in the Reebok ones, and that's when they had made the switch over to Adidas. But yeah, this one is way nicer in person. And again, you've got the "We Fight, We March" up there in the neckline, and of course it's the prime green version. Some people would love to see this become the home jersey. I don't know. I like their current home jersey. I have no problem with them sticking around with this as the alternate. This is a fantastic alternate. Again, you see it in pictures. It doesn't do it justice. You look at this up close and in person, absolutely fantastic. Definitely one I was very, very, very wrong about. And I'm so glad that when I finally pulled the trigger, that I went and got it. I was so very glad that I got it, because that's fantastic. So that is 10. Stay. that is 10 of that is 10 jerseys of my collection that look a lot better in person than they do in photos or videos or anything like that. Those are my 10. I know I kind of went a little long because, I start talking about my jerseys and I can go and go, I try a lot of times to keep it around a minute for each jersey. Yeah, that never seems to work that way. Because I start kind of rambling, and next thing you know, it's almost double the time that it should be. But I thank you guys for being here. Those are my 10, or those are 10 jerseys from my collection. I have a lot more that honestly look a lot better in person than they do on in photos or just seeing it on TV. But those are the 10 that I just happened to pick out of my collection, and I hope you guys enjoy. And let me know your thoughts in the comments section. What are some jerseys that you guys have in your collection, or what jerseys out there do you guys think look way better in person than they do on video or in photos? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. And again, I thank you guys for being here. And if there's anyone new that's just cruising on through, you happen to come across this video, hopefully you like it. If you like it, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you be a part of the channel. Remember, the subscribe button is your friend. It is your friend. And I will see you guys again very soon.